So today we're going to be going over your review or practice test that I asked you to do yesterday. So I'm going to go through it, and then afterwards I will actually post the answers so that you have those to refer back to. So number 1 is 2 8/10 times 10 to the second power. We know that when we're multiplying, we're going to be moving the decimal point to the right, and since the exponent is 2, that means we're going to move it 2 places to the right. So our answer will be 280. The next one is 2 8/10 times 10 to the third. Once again, it's multiplication. We're going to move it to the right, and now we're going to move it 3 places because our exponent is 3. So our answer is going to be 2,800. There. And then the last one is 2 8/10 times 10 to the fourth. We're going to move our decimal to the right again since it's multiplication, and the exponent is 4, so we're going to move it 4 places. So our answer will be 28,000. Then for number 2, it says, where did you place the decimal point in your answer to 2 8/10 times 10 to the third? You could say I placed the decimal 3 spaces to the right of where it started, because we knew that 3 spaces to the right. It's kind of hard to do on here because I don't have a lot of room, but you knew that the exponent was 3, so that told you were going to move it 3 spaces and to the right since it's multiplication. How did you know to place it there? I knew that the exponent was 3, so that tells me that I need to move the decimal 3 spaces to the right since it's multiplication. Okay, let's keep going. Number 3, these are all division problems with our exponents. So 14 3/10 divided by 10 to the second power. We know when we divide, we're going to move the decimal point to the left. And since the exponent is 2, I'm going to move it 2 places to the left. So my answer is going to be 0 and 143 thousandths. 14 3/10 divided by 10 to the third. We're also going to move our decimal to the left because it's division. And we're going to move it 3 places because my exponent is 3. So my answer is going to be 0.0143. Then the last one, 14.3 divided by 10 to the fourth. It's division, so we're going to move the decimal point to the left, and our exponent is 4. So we're going to move it 4 spaces. So my answer is going to be 0.00143. Number 4 says, where did you place the decimal point in your answer to 14.3 divided by 10 to the third? Well, you place the decimal 3 spaces to the left from where it started. So 3 spaces to the left. And it says, how did you know to place it there? I knew that the exponent was 3, so that tells me that I need to move the decimal 3 spaces to the left since it's division. So you're going to move it 3 spaces to the left since it's division and your exponent was 3. Okay, number 5, use an estimate to place the decimal point in each product. So we're going to use rounding, and we're going to round these numbers to numbers that are easy to round. We're going to make an estimate, and then that's going to help show us where to put the decimal. So 38 4/10, I'm going to just round that up to 40. And I'm going to multiply it by, I'm going to round 6 1/10 to 6. And that is going to give me 240. So my estimate is 240. That's going to tell me I'm going to put my decimal point right here, in between the 4 and the 2. So my answer should be 234.2. 0.2 because that is the closest answer to 240 with those digits that they already gave us. So moving on to the next one, 2 7/78 times 14 6/10. Once again, they've already given us the digits, so we have to figure out where to put our decimal point. So I'm going to round 2.78 up to 3. And I'm going to round 14.6 up to 15. And I know that 3 times 15 is 45, so my answer has to be somewhat close to 45. So I'm going to put my decimal here between the 0 and the 5. So my answer is 40.588 because 40 would be the closest answer to 45. Number 6 says, explain how you determined where to place the decimal point in the problem. And it was our problem that was 38.4 times 6.1. So first I made an estimate rounding those numbers to 40 times 6. Then I multiplied 40 times 6 and got 240. That told me the decimal needed to go between the first 4 and the 2 so that my answer was close to 240. So I knew to put my decimal point between the 4 and the 2, so my answer is 234.24. Moving on to number 7, we have multiplication of 2 decimals, so I'm going to multiply them like they're whole numbers. So I'm going to do 147 times 32, and I'm going to get 4,704, and I'm going to once again make estimates. I can make my estimates 15 times 3, which is 45. So that tells me my decimal point has to go here between the 7 and the 0, so my answer is 47.04 because 47 is close to 45. Then moving on to the next one, 26.8 times 37.3. Once again, I'm going to make an estimate. So I could say I'm going to do 30 times, we'll round that one up to 40, and that is going to be 1,200 for my estimate. Then I'm going to take those decimals out and multiply like they're whole numbers, so 268 times 373. I know how to do that multiplication, and that's going to give me an answer of 99,964. Then I gotta go back and put my decimals in. Well, my estimate was 1,200. So that tells me that my decimal point is going to go after the 9 and before the 6 to give me an answer of 999 64 because that's fairly close to 1,200, which was my estimate. That one's a little bit trickier because 1,200 is a 4-digit number and 999 is 3 digits, but it's almost 1,000, so that's where how I would know where to put my decimal point. So then number 9 asks us to explain how we solved the problem 14.7 times 3.2. I made an estimate first using 15 times 3, which gave me 45. Then I took out the decimals and multiplied the numbers like they were whole numbers. 147 times 32. That gave me an answer of 4,704. I then put the decimals in between the digits to make the answer 47.04, which is close to my estimate of 45. For number 10, it says make an estimate, then divide as if the dividend were a whole number. Use your estimate to place the decimal point in your answer. So first I'm going to make an estimate. So I'm going to round that 6.71 to 6. I'm going to say 6 divided by 2. We all know that's 3, so that's my estimate. We know it's going to be close to 3. Then I'm going to divide as though they're whole numbers. So I'm going to take 671 divided by 2. When I do that, I get an answer of 30,355, because I have to tack on my zeros actually here, so it would look more like this. Then I need to make my answer close to my estimate, which was 3, so that means I'm going to put my decimal point right here to make my answer 3.355. So my estimate was 3, and my answer is 3.355. Okay, now moving on to number 11, I'm going to write an equivalent problem that has a whole number divisor, then solve the equivalent problem and complete the number sentence. So our problem is 4.8 divided by 0.6. So I'm going to make my equivalent problem. I'm going to multiply each of those numbers right there times 10. So 4.8 times 10 is going to be 48. And then I'm going to divide that by, I'm going to multiply 0.6 by 10 as well, which will make it 6 because we have to multiply them by the same number. We all know that 48 divided by 6 is 8. So that is going to be the answer to my equivalent problem. If I did this as an estimate, I could have rounded 4.8 up to 5 and divided by 0.6. I'm going to round it up to 1. So that's going to give me 5 divided by 1 equals 5. So my equivalent problem is going to be the same answer as what I got up here with my equivalent problem that I used. So 4.8 divided by 0.6 is going to equal 8, because that was my answer up here. Because remember, that's like taking 8 6/10, multiplying 6/10 by 8, which would give you 4.8, which was our dividend that we started with. So I'm going to be doing a Zoom call today between 1 and 2. If you have any questions, you can get on there and ask me, and we can go over them during the Zoom call. And then you will have a quiz tomorrow on Thursday, April the 16th, over all of this material. It will look just like this practice quiz that I gave you. Thanks, and I will see you tomorrow.